Come on, matinee. I ain't got $7.50 to pay.
Professor X and Magneto, they used to be homeboys back in the day. What happened to break up the greatest mutant bromance ever known to man?
It's the same thing as Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, right? If let's pretend they were white and had mutant powers, then this is exactly like what happened.
It's also like one of the few superhero comics that caters to women. A lot of women like it because they have a lot of strong female characters in it.
It caters to me anytime you want to just paint a chick blue and just keep her naked. I'm down with that.
I can guarantee you Leon has been in some strip joint where some chick has been blue and had no clothes on.
Hey man, once you go blue,
it's not the kind of X-Men movie that we've been used to. It takes place during the 60s, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. This movie is more like those cool, stylish James Bond movies that had a certain kish in sci-fi, but they were still very sexy.
Like I thought January Jones as Emma Frost, the way they have her dressed up, she totally looks like a Bond girl.
We see Magneto at the very beginning. He's like running around hunting down people. I mean, I was like, wow, how come this guy never came up as far as like up for the James Bond role?
Plus, I have to say, Magneto makes a turtleneck look badass, man.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, this is the story of how a young Professor Charles Xavier, you know him as Professor X, and Eric Lyncher, aka Magneto, became dear friends as they united to stop a madman named Sebastian Shaw from starting World War III, but soon became arch enemies, divided by their opinions on the humans who would come to misunderstand them and fear them.
whenever James McAvoy or Michael Fassbender are on screen as those characters, they own it, whether they're together or separate.
I mean, what you're waiting to see play out is these two, their friendship splinter.
And, you got Kevin Bacon on there being as slimy as possible. That seems to be like the only roles he gets lately.
I thought they made him a little too smirky, a little too jokey almost, to where he didn't seem like he was that much of a real threat.
It just seems like it had so many things going that the stuff I thought really worked didn't get enough attention, and these other things dragged it down. They recruit some of these kids, these new mutants, Banshee and some of the others, and then they kind of just sit them in a break room for a while where they just play a little bit.
They're hanging out in the green room.
Yeah, they're hanging out in the green room. And so by the time things are serious, y'all, we got to train. It's like, well, they got 5 days to do a montage of training.
The film really is kind of a love triangle because you're watching Mystique, who is one of equally as important a character as Magneto and Professor X, who's sort of equally drawn to both of their points of view in an almost romantic sort of way. I think Jennifer Lawrence does a fantastic job selling that.
Magneto, he's working that shit too. He's just pimping. He's just like, hey, look, baby, I like you in your mutant form. You good with that.
You want society to accept you, but you can't even accept yourself.
See, I figure that's part of his James Bond training.
Yeah.
Just learn how to seduce young women.
With the new mutants that we have Caleb Landry Jones, who plays Banshee.
Ron Weasley's body double. For the last
I know, right?
Lucas Till as Havoc. We got this dude, Eddie Gathegi as Darwin, who can like adapt to anything. That dude looked high all the time. His eyes were just red. I don't know if his mutant power is to just smoke mutant weed.
That is Zoe Kravitz, right?
Yep, that is Lenny Kravitz's daughter as Angel Salvador.
Here's the thing. If you're going to join up with X-Men, don't be black.
Yeah.
Because the black characters got the shaft in this movie.
Oh, man, they
pun
did.
intended.
Kevin Bacon character is just racist. He gives all the mutants a chance to make up their minds about everything except this poor brother right here.
Friends, there's a revolution coming when mankind discovers who we are, what we can do. Each of us will face a choice: be enslaved or rise up to rule. Choose freely, but know that if you are not with us, then by definition you are against us.
Let's not forget that he was actually a Nazi.
Yeah,
all right?
exactly. It's like,
Sorry.
Some of the effects were not that great. Some of them were excellent. I would say the best effects that are in the movie are Magneto, who when he's controlling metal. I would love to see a movie where Magneto just walked into the projects and just snatched everybody's gold off their necks. Yeah, now there would be that one scene where he takes everybody's gold except for that one Negro who's got all fake gold and it ain't budged.
His skin's gonna turn green.
It's the best of those James Bond goofy films, and it slides by on that a lot. And while this is going to a different period, it is going back also to that first movie where they made me believe that all the absurdities that occur in these movies can be real within this universe. And so, yeah, I recommend this at a very low full price.
I really loved this, even with caveats that it had problems, and I'm going to give it an enthusiastic full price.
I'm gonna give it a full-on full price just because, wow, you made me give a shit about X-Men again.
I'm not as in love with it as the rest of you guys. There's some really cool things about it, but there's some other things that just kind of like make me go, meh. So it comes down to being kind of like a high matinee for me.
I would even go say there's some things about this movie that I love. There are some things that did stand out to me that made this movie just not as good as I wanted it to be. And I still think it's a good film.
Would one of those things be the bad special effects?
Leon, I can understand what you mean about the special effects, and I know what it is. And I'm being serious. Blue just does not lend itself to a good special effect.
It worked fine in Avatar, and actually the way they did Mystique in the first movie, it felt more realistic, whereas this time that changing back and forth so much, it was just so like screaming. CG, not changing for real. And even the makeup on Beast, it's kind of like it looked good until he start talking.
I mean, that's the thing. Beast does not look that good to me. Beast is the one that looked like Cookie Monster had sex with a cat.
Nepal. Nom, 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 nom.